Well, good evening to some, good afternoon to others, and good morning to some. Wherever you're looking from today, thank you so much for being here. My name is Leslie Montgomery, and you are tuned into LKM Kingdom Living, Leslie's Lessons Learned. And as we get started, we're going to be talking with our guest today, Janice Minor. She's a practitioner, health practitioner. Can I say health practitioner?
Yes, you can.
Uh, and she's going to educate us on how to take care of our bodies with diabetes. And it's a double. Is that yours?
Uh, I don't know. You see a double?
Yeah, I have a double.
I know.
You don't have anything on?
No, no.
Okay. So as we continue, uh, like I said, she's going to be talking to us today about diabetes and hypertension, something that a lot of people have today. So let's get started.
Okay.
Welcome, 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 Janice, to LKM Kingdom Living. It's not your first time you've been on here before, but we're happy to have you back, and especially with the topic that you're talking about today. We know that you're well versed in these in the getting us back on track with our health, and we want you to share with us now. I don't know which one you want to start with, whether you want to start with the diabetes or with the hypertension, but the ebook that you have written, you've written an ebook, and before you get started, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about the book, and then we'll go into it.
Okay. Well, I'm Janice Minor. I'm a functional nutrition counselor and a health and wellness coach. And it differs from being a dietitian or a nutritionist because we look not only at the FDA's standard of food eating and how we should eat, but we look at the root cause of what's causing your ailment or your illness from a whole perspective. And that's what I do in functional medicine. Functional medicine, I work with doctors who specialize more so in herbalization, in Ayurvedic medicine, and in supplements, because there are things that our body does not respond to that are chemically made, and our bodies respond positively to those things that are easily digested in our system, and that's where functional medicine and nutrition plays. And this started, oh gosh, all my life. Really didn't know it. It's really ironic how we look and look and look, we search for our purpose. And purpose, if we actually tune our ear to hear what the master is saying to us, our purpose has always been there from the beginning, from the start. Now, learning to take care of my ailing parents and bringing myself back from injury, watching so many people who had structural damage in their skeletal system and really ended up with chronic pain all the time, got me more focused on what can we do to actually reverse or at least halt those conditions in our lives, which led me to become a functional nutrition counselor. So I
Mhm.
love what I do. It's my life's calling, and I everywhere I go, I'm talking about health, or I'm looking and listening for that clue to give me insight into what is actually ailing them. And about my ebook, it came about dealing with so many people that suffer from prediabetes, diabetes, and hypertension, which are all food related illnesses. And that prompted me to write this book because, like you said in your introduction, Leslie, there are so many people that are, they just go and get a medication and feel like, oh, I'm going to take this medication. It puts a lid on it, and that's it. But
Let me stop you for a minute there because I think that one of the things, I'm sorry, I'm sending emails out, but I think that that's a good point that you made. And one of the things that I realized that has taken place or is taking place is that they tell you once you get on those medications that you can't get off. So people just
Stay on here.
yeah, they don't research it. They don't see if that's true, and they don't even try to see how well they could, if they worked at it, how rather even if it helped them,
Mhm.
by working at it. You're talking about foods. You said it comes from foods, and I think that it does come from food, but at the same time, I think that the foods are designed to do this. So I just wanted to say that, as far as I want you to keep going where you were going, but as far as people that you go and they say you have hypertension, you have diabetes, and you can, once you start these medications, you can never come off.
That's the forest because it predicates fear. And whenever
Right.
we fear something because we have a lack of knowledge in that area, we tend to narrow our view and we will always say, a great percentage of the population will say, well, my doctor said, so it must be true. My doctor is doing this, and so I must do this way, which they don't understand that nutrition, when a physician goes through medical school, they get only a total of 16 to 20 hours, clock hours of nutrition. That's not what they focus on. They focus on finding the ailment, putting a lid on that ailment by giving
A
you,
band-aid.
yes, by giving you pharmaceutical drugs. Now, medicine hasn't changed much from the 1940s till now in that aspect. But with the rise of so many health conscious people and people who, when we research the blue zones and see people living to be, 100, 110, 120 years old, then it really sparked in some doctors when they saw that their patients weren't getting any better, no matter how they treated them, they were developing other illnesses. So now instead of taking one medication, they end up taking 4 or 5 medications. And the more pharmaceutical drugs that we take, the more it inhibits our body's ability or our immune system to bounce back and heal the way we're supposed to.
Yes.
I think a lot of it is miseducation and being misinformed, or uh, I say Google mania, or the WebMD. So many people will research and actually they will get a definition for something, but without taking into consideration uh, their genetics and taking into consideration their family heritage, that particular information may not be bona fide for them, and that's why a lot of people get stuck. They compare that with what somebody else maybe in their 40s or 50s are doing, and now they're in their 60s, 70s, early 80s, and wondering why that does not affect them or get the same result.
Hmm.
There's so many diseases that are here now prevalent, more prevalent because of our food chain and how our food is manufactured, where it comes uh, from the farm all the way to the modern day agricultural system, which now depletes the soil and depletes the nutrients in what is being planted. So 40 years ago, 50 years ago, we could go and we could buy food in our grocers. It didn't have to say organic, and it would have 75 to 80% of the nutrients already in there because farmers tilled the land. They gave the land time to rest. They added worms and other species into the soil that now is going to add that nutrient and feed that seed so that when we ate that food, we would get the nutrients. Now, farming is commercial. It is done through machinery, and nothing gets to rest. So if you go and look at the soil in most farmlands now, where we get
Hmm.
95% of our food, when you pick it up, it looks like dust. It's not that rich, dark, um, pliable soil. And it's a difference in having earth soil and having ground to plant it in. And so when uh, we don't know that, and we go to the grocery store and we buy. spend hard-earned dollars on food, thinking that we're eating nutritiously, and we're only getting 53 to 52% of the nutrients in the food.
Is
And
it that much?
yes, yes.
Wow.
Now, when we get organic food, now we're back up to 65 to 70%, but
Really?
there is still that lacking of the nutrients that our body needs.
Yes.
Bird epigenetics. Because one of the things, we can't change our DNA. DNA structure comes from, centuries of our ancestors, and when we think about our DNA, we think basically it came from our mom and our dad, maybe our grandparents, but it goes far back to our great great grandparents, our great great grandparents, parents, and all of that actually filters down into the DNA of who we are. Now, our DNA we can't change, but our gene pool, our gene structure can be altered. And when it's altered, it sends out little things like, or the epigenetic cells now attached to a healthy or a unhealthy cell in our body. It's sort of like when we were kids and we did, we made the solar system, and we took the Earth, the planet Earth, and then we like toothpicks all around it, put all the planets all around it. Well, that's actually what the cell looks like when epigenetics applies itself to that cell. And this is a way that we can harness the density of nutrition that gets into our cellular being, that is actually regenerated every 35 to 45 days, sometimes a little longer depending on our age frame where we are. That's why, you can look at teenagers or young adults, even in your 30s, that they can eat and move and, maybe not do a lot of exercise, but just run, 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 get a minimal amount of sleep. And their cell rejuvenation is usually good. They have a high immune system. They don't usually get sick, or if they do, 2 or 3 days, and they're back on their feet. Whereas when you get in your 50s and your 60s and your 70s, that chain of defense began to go down to the other area. So there is a line where we start with being very healthy, to the end of that line is being very unhealthy. And what we want to do is move to the medium of that line, and we stay in that pool where we are not totally healthy, but we're not unhealthy. And that's the balance of actually feeding our genes, feeding our cells, understanding how epigenetics can then unlock and transform a life which is suffering from prediabetes, diabetes, before hypertension sets in. Because normally when a person has diabetes, they have both. They have hypertension and they have diabetes, because they work pretty much together.
This is my question, because one of the things that I was thinking about, something else that usually comes up in it, and what's it called? Cholesterol,
Mhm, mhm.
and how use. My question to you is: is it the medication that triggers these different things, or is it something that's already building up in your body?
Cholesterol, the cholesterol in our arteries. This
All
is
three of them.
this is why I say that it starts with our DNA, because you could come from, let's say there's a person who's born in Georgia, and then that person who's born in Georgia, their offspring is born in Massachusetts. Well, the air they breathe, the environment, the things that they're exposed to, the type of foods that they eat are different, which does not change the DNA, which actually could be that this person, this family line, could have a problem with cholesterol. And it does not mean that if their number is slightly elevated, that that's high for that DNA branch, for that person's normal history. That's why in functional medicine, we start from the basic root, and there is a whole uh, booklet of information that we gather before we even say, this is, try this, or this would probably work better for you, or this will kind of clear up that clogging in your system. Um, we can do things that promotes more cholesterol in our body, and that's by eating unhealthy fats, eating, you know, basically that's it. Eating unhealthy fats is what's going to clog our um, our arteries and give us high cholesterol. Dairy, eating a lot of dairy when our body isn't designed to eat that dairy, that brings a lot of cholesterol. And when cholesterol gets into your arteries, it acts like it's like having a straw that is clear, and you can just turn water through it, it's going to come straight through. But if that straw has a collection of debris around it, then the amount of water or liquid that goes through begins to go from a healthy stream to sometimes just every now and then there's a little bit, there's a little bit, there's a little bit. And so what healthy foods and healthy oils and oils that our bodies uses and metabolizes unclogs that. It cleans it out. It acts like a rotor-rooter, or acts like a snake that you put down a drain to take out a clog. And so just because you're in a gene pool that has, or a family DNA strain that has high cholesterol, it doesn't mean that you have to build up so much cholesterol in that artery that now you are on a statin drug. So understanding what you can do in the beginning so that you're not on statins is one of the most important things that we can do.
Okay, thank you so much. I just want to say real quick, yes, we were supposed to come on yesterday at 3, but it didn't dawn on me that I was going to be in the air and could not come on, so that's why we came on today. Thank you so much for the information that you're sharing with us. This is good to know because most of us are not educated in these fields. That's why we have people like you that can tell us and walk us through some things. Now, I want the audience to know that you have an ebook out there. It's in the chat that you can go to, and she, let me say it this way: Janice has written an ebook to help with hypertension and diabetes. And one of the things she has, I want to say hello to Pastor Jackie, and I want to say hello to Adrian. Thank you for being here. And anyone else that comes on along the way, thank you for coming on. I know it was off balance. Probably didn't know that we was coming on today. But if you can, please hit the like sign, subscribe, and share. And hopefully that something that you hear today will be beneficial for your life. Now, one of the things you were saying was that most of it comes from the foods that we eat, and that you also talked about the generic. That's not the right word. About the body and how the body, um, family line.
Mm-hmm,
A lot of it comes from that. Hi, Linda. Thank you for being here. And you were telling us that. Um, the doctors, and this is something that's very important, is that we take the doctor's word, and the doctor half knows what they're talking about because of the education they have. The education they had is not in the nutritional side, so they really don't know anything much about the nutritional side. I think what is it, 4 hours or something like that. You actually said how many hours they get on the nutritional side, so it's easier for them to say, no, take this instead of change the way you eat, or for them to say to go to a nutritionist,
mm-hmm.
not even a nutritionist, but oh, you and my cousin and one, it'll come back to me. Uh, you know, not doing medicine.
Hmm.
What is it called? Not doing, teaching you how to live healthy through changing your eating habits, mindset, and things like that, and to bring you to another place, space of being healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One of the biggest things that I would love for the audience to grasp, if they don't grasp anything else, is what is epigenetics? Because we don't think about that. We think, okay, I'm going to change how I eat. I'm going to change, I'm going to add more exercise, and then when they don't get the results that they are looking for, they're in a quandrum. They're not really, they're reaching for straws everywhere to try to to move that needle, not understanding that epigenetics is the study of the gene expression, not involved in alternating anything in our DNA, because that's something that we can't change, but it's a sequence that's influenced by a lot of factors. Number one, it's influenced by, like we said earlier, the diet that we have, the physical exercise or the activity that we have, the environmental exposure that we're exposed to.
Can
And
you talk? Wait. Talk about that 1 minute, because now you threw something else into the water. Uh, you said the environment. Explain that a little.
we're all situated in a what I call a colony around our homestead, and we spend a great deal of our time inside our homes, um, whether we're resting, whether we're with this after COVID, so many people working in our homes. We have air conditioning in the summer to keep us cool, and we have the heat system in the winter to keep us warm. We hardly ever open up our doors or our windows and let the fresh air come through. But even if we did that, a lot of homes still have carpet. And in that carpet, unnatural fibers, they emit a and not only an odor, but they emit a gas that circulates through our houses. It has nothing to do with how clean you are. You could vacuum your house every day, but that particular solvent is in the material when they make the carpet. And then let's say you've had that carpet in your house 10, 15, 20 years. And so now all of the dander, the skin, because we shed our skin cells every day, all of this goes and it's in the environment, in the air that we're breathing in. This is why it's so important that we walk out daily. I don't care how cold it is, to get out and really breathe deeply and get fresh air into our lungs. God created us in such a manner that we have filtration systems all in our body. We've got the hairs in our nose, the hairs in our ears, and these things, and we've got the pellicle in our
For a purpose.
for a purpose. And the reason it's there is to filter out these little microscopic particles that we can't see that actually cause us to have allergies, hay fever, cause us to have sinus problems, cause us to have uh, uh, watery eyes, running eyes, dry eye syndrome. It causes us to feel like we have a cold and we're treating cold symptoms, and it's not actually the virus or the infection of a cold. It's actually that our body is now trying to regurgitate and get rid of all of this clutter and clog. Not only is it in the materials that are in our home, but it's in the cleaning supplies that we use. I mean, I don't know about you, but I grew up, my mom bleached everything. A bottle of
Everything.
it killed all the germs. It killed,
Look,
yeah,
I made a mistake one time and mixed
ammonia.
ammonia and Clorox together, and
Oh,
it
that's a plug.
ran.
That's bad. That's bad. And we do this and we clean without wearing masks. Before COVID, we would put our hands in solvent and we're breathing our cleaning solutions and not thinking anything about that. And what we touch or what gets on our skin gets into our bloodstream in a matter of 30 seconds. So even if we do something and go wash our hands, that 30 seconds has passed and now it's penetrating into the bloodstream and it's depositing all of those chemicals there. So this is why, our liver system has to it has to work overtime to try to get all these toxins out. There are not just in our cleaning supplies and our flooring, but in our linens that we have, the material that we use to wash our clothes. And sometimes I just shake my head when you go through the laundry aisle and see the things that are coming out that's new for us to use. Now, I mean, we were using fabric softener that was liquid, and we went from the liquid to more
To the
convenient
core.
to those little sheets. And then now we're adding these uh, little crystal beads that we're sprinkling into the wash before we start. And no one, I don't feel, takes that bottle and turn around and look at how these things are made.
Yeah. And if we do, it's Greek.
Yeah.
But before you go any further, I want to tell you, I saw on Instagram about the towel sheets,
uh, the
the
driest seat.
dryer sheets,
Mhm.
and all the things you can do with it.
Yes.
I had on my car, I had sap. Couldn't get the sap off. I
Uh-huh.
wet one of those cloths, went out there, and the sap came right off. The different things that people don't even realize, and I'm like, well, what is it doing to our clothes if we can do? I mean, the look, it was a black mark on the sneakers. I told Ashley to get a
A
towel,
dryer
wet
sheet.
it. I mean, I've been using it for anything that I couldn't normally get off. I'm using these dryer sheets and it's getting it off.
The same product or ingredient that's in that dryer sheet that allows you to erase marks like that is what they make the magic erasers out of. And we wouldn't dare eat that or rub that on our skin, but yet it's in a product that as it's heated, it emits all of that and it gets into the fibers of the clothes. And then when we have kids that are allergic and we don't know what their allergy is coming from, and we think they're allergic to a food that they're eating, and it actually could be the product that's getting in and on our skin through these products that we use. So environmental stressors are, it's really important. If we were to get back to, getting a bucket of water and white vinegar and adding lemons and limes, or even uh, orange extract, so that we have the fragrance that we want, putting some basil in there or some thyme in there to give it a different scent, and adding just a little bit of a uh, a soap, like an ivory soap, that's just
Mm,
the pure making of the soap to make it
yeah.
bubble. We could get our homes clean and they would have a nice fresh scent. But we're used to Fabuloso, we're used to Mr. Clean, we're used to the Lysol scents, and we're used to spraying this air freshener in these
And I saw
aerosol.
about that how they they don't even really work and what they do
Yeah.
in your home. And I just said the other day, I told the girls I'm gonna start making my own laundry detergent because of all the stuff that they're putting in the detergent to make it more conducive for us to want to use.
It makes it more,
Not conducive, but when I say attractive,
yeah,
let's say attractive,
and
to make us more, oh wow, I need this, I need that. And only thing we're doing is I don't know if it clogs up our pores. You said it gets into the bloodstream, and just we never think about that. Look, we're talking about environment, we're talking about laundry detergent, and if we begin to research what the clothes that they make is doing, all that piled together.
uh, and we're in a closed environment. And can you imagine people who don't go outside? Maybe they go out, for 2 or 3 hours on Sunday, but most of the time their time is sedentary at home. And so now they wonder why they can't sleep. They have sleep deprivation. They wonder why, they can't take a deep breath and hold it. One of an example I like to give is really, really easy to just see how much of environmental toxins that our lung capacity is holding. It's to take a deep breath in and hold your breath. If you can hold your breath, you should be able to hold it for 2 minutes. But if you can be able to hold your breath for a whole minute, and then when you let the air out, you're not, then your lung capacity is pretty clear. Your filtration system during your nose uh, and in your eyes and your ears are actually filtering out a lot of that exposure that we're exposed to. And that depends too on the DNA line in your family. Some people were brought up in the open, and they weren't contained in, houses, brick houses, decaying houses, or around a lot of mold, and they have the capacity to breathe deeply longer. So, but that's a good way of just using something natural that God has given us, which is the breath within us, to clear out some of those pathogens that come from the exposure that we get to harmful things in our environment.
And
And
those deep breaths are really, really very valuable.
they are.
There we have no idea what it's doing actually when we do that.
That's right. And just a tidbit back on those dryer sheets, the fire departments will tell you that you need to clean out your dryer and the vent area
Because
very,
they will
very
cause fires.
they will cause a fire. And
Yes.
in fact, we did an experiment in one of our workshops where we were talking about environmental toxins, where we took it outside and put it in a ceramic container and lit it afire. It blazed as much as burning logs quickly. It ignited so quickly. And so
Wow.
these are things, that are harmful to us, and we don't realize that these things can cause all the good things that we're doing, eating properly, drinking enough water, being, physically active, and things are still stuck, or we still
Right.
don't just feel our best. And it could be from some of these things that are in our environment. So,
Yeah.
that,
So let me just say for a minute, if you have a question, please put it in the comment, so that Janice can um, answer your questions. This is very vital information, very valuable information that she's given us, that we can turn some things around. Uh, one of the things, because I I have hypertension. It came from stress, something that I was going through, and I couldn't get it under control at the time. So, and I was walking, I was exercising, because the doctor was trying to help me, but I just couldn't get it to where um, that didn't happen. But I remember doing all this stuff, and now that I'm hearing you talk, the exercise is good, uh, eating properly is good, but it takes a whole lot to maintain
it's the whole
something,
pie.
the
If you
whole
take a
pie.
whole pie and you cut it into 10 slices, each one of those areas are vital to being healthy. It's a difference in losing weight and have shed pounds than being healthy. And when we get that ideology out of our head that if we're, now I'm a size 10 or a size 8, when I was a size 16 or 14, everything is great. Now you're going to feel better because as you shed that fat, that is visceral fat that's around those organs, you are going to feel better because you don't have that pressure pushing on those organs. However, the residue of what that has done to organs in our body to make us healthy, that's a totally different story. So, and it depends on how far down that grid that I was talking about, from the state of the start of being very healthy to the start of being very ill or chronically ill, that you are. And the goal is to move from that chronic illness portion, or that you may not even know that you're ill because you're not going to the doctor, you're not checking
Right.
out, you don't know what it is that you have to treat. And if you just take your body to the Lord, present it to him, take out a lot of the foreign things that we're eating. Not, and we're not just talking about uh
Illegally in our bodies.
yes, yes. And you add herbs. There is the study where medicinal herbs have been used in Chinese and Indian medicine and even African medicine for centuries and centuries, where people were healthy and they were whole. And when they had illnesses, I mean, even when the typhoid fever was out or malaria was out, those who actually went out and gathered what their grandparents had taught them to, to eat in the forms of herbs and bark from trees caused the fungi in their body to produce so well that it could encapsulate malaria and other diseases, and it can pass through our body. However, we feel that the moment we get a fever and we're feeling really bad, we need to take something to reduce that fever. Now, if the fever has not elevated to 105 or above, then you actually should let your body go through that process, even though it feels uncomfortable. You're sweating it out. You just, you feel no energy. You just don't want to get up. The best thing that you can do is let your body go through that process because it is naturally getting rid of all those toxins and parasites and viruses and infections that want to pass through our body.
So it's like a detox.
It is. It's a natural detox for the body that God's already designed for us. But we don't want to hurt and we don't feel good. So we want to feel better quick. So we'll go get an antibiotic, which kills good and bad bacteria. It does. It just goes and attacks. And so if
Right.
you don't have enough good bacteria in your body already, then once you get over that, it masks the symptoms of that cold or that pneumonia or whatever that virus is that's in your body. It's just suppressing it. And then once you get back to your daily routine, it's still going to be there. You may, you can have a lingering cold or a cough that's going to last you an entire year, no matter what you're doing, and you can't figure out why. I took, the Z pack. I've taken antibiotics, and I've had my teas, I've had my honey, I've rested. Why can't I get rid of this? Because the antibiotics that we've taken have eaten up the good probiotics, prebiotics in our system. We don't have the enzymes to build up to nourish the new cells that are going to be developed. So
Go ahead.
it's a lot. When we think about being healthy, we have to, there is power in nutrition and the density of food. 100%, 100%. And if you're in that borderline where you're not, you don't have a diagnosis, a medical diagnosis of something actually off kilter in your body, then food can change any and everything. I see all these food gurus on you know TikTok and Instagram, and they're young and they're healthy and they're telling you all about what this food can do. Well, when I was 40, when I was 50, I could tell you the exact same thing because it would do exactly that. But every 10 years, we are designed that internally we change. We lose some things that we didn't have when we were 40, when we were 30, we lose those things. And I don't care how you eat correctly, you're not going to go back and regain that because that's called the process of aging. And as we age and our telomeres shorten, we can be healthy at that stage of the spectrum where we are, but trying to go back and recreate what we had when we felt so vibrant and everything heals so quickly. A lot of times that's just not where we are. So we have to actually identify where we are, identify that area in our biological system that is under attack, like you said before, hypertension, and you felt that it was brought on because of stress. And when you have hypertension brought on with stress, you set yourself up for things like fibromyalgia, for immune disorders, for IBS syndrome all the time. For
What's that?
that's irritable bowel syndrome. Uh,
Oh, oh.
some people have the runs all the time, or 2 or 3 times a week, where other people are constipated. It's all
Mm,
in the same. But stress and hypertension can bring that on, and sleep deprivation can add, to that. So to live well, not only do we have to eat well, but we have to not only eat food, we have to breathe well. So all of that comes into actually seeing areas to bring down. When I said that the role of an understanding epigenetics helps us understand and reverse, or if it's not reversed, to either actually stop the progression of diabetes and hypertension. That's very, very real because 75% of the population is pre-diabetic and don't know it. And then
right.
there's a great deal of the people who are diabetic and they don't know how to stop that. Even though they feel like I've changed my diet, I'm eating right, they're doing that along with taking a medication to keep that under control.
Right.
Which brings us to the new products like um, Wycovy or uh, uh, what's the other one that starts with a J? I'm having a brain fart. Um, all of these weight loss drugs that were actually designed to help the glucose in our area, to help stimulate uh, the insulin so that our body could produce the type of insulin that our body needed, not too much and not too little. However, in that discovery, they found that people were losing weight, the people who were very, very heavy. One of the reasons is when you are really a full blown diabetic and you suffer from hypertension, it is hard for you to let go of that weight. Your body is holding on to that weight as a protection. It's like an insulating factor to keep it from getting worse. And so those drugs actually targeted that, similar to liposuction, if you will. Liposuction goes in and sucks out the fat. That in that fat that they suck out is all of the glucose, the insulin resistance, and the way our body doesn't metabolize sugar and starches. So the same thing happens, but once they suck it out, you can don't change the way you eat, then the new cells that are there
Coming right back.
back. The same thing with these products like Ozempic and Wegovy. You're gonna, as long as you're on it, you're gonna look phenomenal. You're gonna do well. You're gonna drop all this weight. But when you get off of it slowly, if you have not actually learned how to live a lifestyle that's limited and the type of food that you eat, the exercise that you do, you're gonna it's gonna come back. It's gonna come back. And it's a travesty that so many pharmaceutical companies are promoting it for the wrong thing, and there's not been enough research done on it. So we have no idea how your kidneys are going to be affected, how your bladder is going to be affected, your reproductive system as a woman, how it's going to be affected, or your prostate area, if you're a male. We have no idea how that is going to react, just like we don't know the long-term effects of the COVID shot. So if you do something out of a panic or because everybody else is doing it, could be very detrimental to you in the long run. Long
Yeah.
years
So,
later.
so, and I know the word I was looking for, holistic.
Okay. Oh,
Holistic, that y'all operate in the holistic. But what about echinacea tea?
that's phenomenal because
Oh, okay. Because
uh,
that's yes.
active. All of those teas are good for the immunity, for the immune system. And when
Okay.
we understand what the immune system is, the immune system is um, our defense system. It's like being in the military and you have a trained sniper. You've got a trained sniper, and the sniper is going to put its sights directly on the object it wants to destroy. It just doesn't go around and shoot randomly, and it targets that particular site and annihilates it. When you have a strong immune system, that's exactly what it does. If your immune system is very strong, you can fight off anything that is in the infectious disease area that we study or that we see in the CDC, whether it's something that says that there is no cure to it, or the common cold, or walking pneumonia, or you know a lung capacities that's full of fluid, an overrun of mucus in the body. Um, any and all of this, you have too much uric acid in your body. When you have a strong immune system, it sends out that sniper to attack that one particular area. That's why if you are suffering from hypertension or diabetes or prediabetes, when you build up your immune system to where it's strong, it helps bring down the pressure in it just your blood pressure is like being in a pressure cooker, and you want to bring it to that balance that's healthy for you. Now, it used to be years ago, doctors would say your healthy blood pressure was 120 over 80, and then they would tell you anything that was higher than that, if it was like 130 over 84, oh, you've got high blood pressure.
Yeah.
Let's put you on some blood pressure medication. That could be stress induced. That could be a residue of viruses left in your body. That
Mm.
could be overstress in your job. That could be you're just depressed. So there's certain things that you
Yeah.
can do naturally to bring that down. Now,
So Go ahead, because for the
If your blood pressure is 165 over 87, or you now you really need to think about it. And especially if your bottom number gets out of the 80s into the 90s, that's serious. And medication should be a point to look at, because you want to
okay,
bring it down, but then you don't want to stay on it for life. So once you bring it,
right,
then you find the alternatives, which are holistic, which are natural, which are functional, to keep that blood pressure normal. And when you do that, you can feel as your these elevations and the change in your body. Although blood pressure, they call it the silent killer, because you can't really feel what's going on until you have a stroke or a heart attack, or it's too late. You have a migraine, you lose your sight. So you want to be cognizant about your blood pressure, even if it's pretty normal. That's why everyone should have a blood pressure cup, and that
really,
everybody, whether they're diagnosed with high blood pressure or not, just like we have a thermometer. We don't walk around with
right,
fever all the time, but we keep it. And so it's a good thing once a week, even if you don't have it, to check your blood pressure and start a journal so you know what is normal for your body. Now, and a good
mm,
way of bringing down your blood pressure is with activity, is with walking. The reason why, as you walk, you're circulating blood throughout your entire body, because your body, the mechanism of your body, everything is working and everything is moving. And you cannot walk without breathing. And as you walk and as you breathe, you open up your blood vessels and you allow that pressure to come down. So that alone is a big help. But if you don't do it as
yeah,
a regular, if you don't do
mhm,
it regularly,
mhm.
you're not going to be able to keep it under control too.
And that's the thing, regularly and consistently. But my question is, um, how they say that once you're on, you can't get off the medication. And I kind of want to wrap it up with this, but I'm gonna have you come back. There's just so much in there. How would you know whether it's consistent? Well, I know you every time you take it, but well enough for you to come off the medication.
I don't, because I am not a licensed
Right.
physician. I don't say, or I don't tell anybody, I don't advocate to come off of your medicine. I advocate that you are smart. And being smart about knowing when to come off is weaning yourself off.
Mm-hmm.
If you To me, there is wisdom in everything, and the word tells us in Proverbs that if we acknowledge the Lord in all our ways, He will direct our path.
Let me say this before you go any further. She's not just on here talking, she is a licensed practitioner. So I
Yes.
just want to say that before you go any further,
Okay.
that what you're talking about, you're not just talking about it. You learned and educated yourself. You're
And
licensed.
still continuing education, because things change in the medical field all the time. But when we talk about coming off of a medication, if you were on a steroid and you had to take a steroid for 2 weeks,
5 days.
5 days. You have that number and that progression as to when you get down and you're done with that. And you're done with it and you stop. When you're on a hypertension medication, you are usually assigned to come back to the doctor for a recheck every 6 months.
Right.
If you go back and your blood pressure is getting stabilized, he normally will tell you stay on the medication. Now, if it's coming down well and your argument is like, well, my blood pressure is down and I don't want to be on this medication, they will usually cut it in half. And then the
Oh,
next
okay.
months, see how your body is reacting with it, cut in half.
Okay.
And my proponent as being a functional nutrition counselor is to keep that journal of taking your blood pressure. There are natural things that you can take that alters your blood pressure, like batarack root, like berberine, like the matcha teas. So you can start taking, and thyme, and oregano, the oil of oregano. So you
Time. Yeah. Yeah.
adding these things along with taking your blood pressure medication, and you're going to see it's going to come down significantly. So when you go back to the doctor, if you tell him that, listen, herbally, this is what I'm doing, most doctors are
They're
going to say,
not
oh,
gonna.
that's
They.
not working.
Yeah.
It's doing it. It's the
Yeah. They don't want to hear that.
Well, at that point, if you feel comfortable, then you can say, tell your doctor, I'm going to cut my medication in half and I'm going to try that and see what that works. And if you see that work, and then you call them again and say, hey, that worked for me. I'm going to cut the half into another half. So now I'm taking quarters. And then you see how that works. If you've lost weight along the way in doing this, most of the time the doctors will say, well, look, it's been a year and you feel okay and your blood pressure isn't extremely high. If you want to stop, you can stop. That's different. I'm working with a person who's been on blood pressure medication for 22 years.
Wow.
It has, in their mind, they're afraid because now this has become a, a part of them, a habit. They
A
get up
way of life.
time. They have lost weight. They don't have joint problems. There is no real need that they take it. However, it's not my place to convince them to get off of it. This is where education with pharmaceutical drugs, which take their root formulation starts with berberine. Their root formulation starts with oregano. So these are natural things that God's already given us. So if they're going to take the root substance and add artificial ingredients to it and man make something, I would rather take the natural thing.
So we're at almost at the top of the hour. I really thank you. This has been beneficial. And Pastor Jackie said so herself. And I'm sure everybody that's listening, whether you are diabetic, whether you're on hypertension, there's things that has been said to educate you, to keep you from ever having to be on that. I want you to talk about how to take the oregano and the thyme, those things that you mentioned.
There is a general way that you can just take them and it's going to benefit you. It'll just benefit everybody. But if a person is suffering from high blood pressure, uh, the prescription way or the formulation that I'm going to tell you will be different. And how do I know that? I know that by gathering all their health information from health forms that I get and by asking a series of questions to get to the
Okay.
root cause. But generally, you could go to the health food store and get the extract of oil of oregano
Okay.
and the extract of thyme and when you make your teas or even your food, anything that you eat, put a dropper of it on your food.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you're doing a tea, and you mentioned that you were taking not elderberry,
Echinacea.
echinacea, you could take the echinacea tea and put a couple of drops of both of them in your echinacea tea. Now, it's going to change the flavor a little bit. So now you might want to add lemon, or you might want to add lime, or you might want to put,
Go ahead.
or you
I'm
might
going to ask a question.
you might want to put, because this is going to give it a bitter taste. And know
Okay.
this, that there are bitter herbs, there are sour herbs, and there are sweet herbs, and they all do something different. The bitter herbs help with the intestinal digestive system, and it
Okay.
also helps with opening up your blood vessels for blood flow. So that
Okay.
helps. These two extracts are going to help with both of those. Um, so if you like your tea a little sweet, then add some monk sugar, a little bit of monk sugar
I
to
was
it.
going to ask you about to repeat that again. Yeah. Uh huh.
Monk sugar is sugar that comes from the monk fruit itself. So
Right.
it's not like having a sugar that's uh, not like having brown sugar, or not like having the aspartame or the
Stevia.
the stevia or any of that. So this is real, and so is coconut sugar. But coconut sugar raises the glycemic uh, index in our body. So if you have diabetes or pre-diabetes, you want to be very um, gentle with the amount of coconut sugar that you use. So, and then you want to make sure that your amino acids, all of your amino acids, are at a very high level. You
Mm,
can do that by eating a kiwi every day,
okay.
just like we eat an avocado every day to have healthy fats. So if you eat a kiwi and wash the skin very well and eat the skin
Oh,
along
eat the
with fruit,
skin.
eat the skin and slice it very thin. You can eat the skin; it won't even bother you. Now you're
Mm.
boosting and you're bumping up the amino acids level in your body that your body's going to use in order to bring all these diseases on a platform where food now can actually help that.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. I was told not to consistently take the echinacea because it is considered an antibiotic.
Exactly.
When you were saying about adding something to it, but I have trained myself to not really have to put anything in my teas to try to drink them straight.
Mhm.
Um,
Let me
that
say this,
Go ahead.
since you echinacea is something that I tell people in the beginning of allergy season, or when the seasons change. In the beginning of the fall, start drinking echinacea and start drinking elderberry tea.
Okay.
That's going to clear mucus, and we get mucus a lot, not that
Yeah.
we are allergic, but because of the pollen and the tree sap
Okay.
and everything that's out in our environment. But
Yeah,
people,
sometimes I'm like, why I got mucus? I didn't have any.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's really good, and it'll help us. Even if you get a cold, it'll help you bounce back quicker.
Mm.
And this is just something that my dad taught me, and I've done this every winter and every spring. Is that I brew echinacea, I brew uh, uh, elderberry, and I brew chamomile tea all together,
Oh, okay.
and I put a tablespoon of honey in it,
Okay.
and I take a tablespoonful of it every
Huh.
day through the wintertime. Through the wintertime.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say it's gonna warn off and you never get a cold because I got one, but
But it helps
it helps and it didn't stay. And I
as
lost
long,
my
right?
voice, but it came back very, very quickly. So these are
Uh-huh.
things that help. And the stronger our immune system is, the quicker and the easier we bounce back from these
Great. I
things.
love this. So we will have you back on. We talk. I think we talked more about the hypertension than we did the diabetes. I could be wrong, but it seemed like that to me. Uh, so we will have you back on. But one of the other things I was thinking about is that once this winter season is over, to have you back on to talk about what to do for the spring coming in as well. Some of the things, because of now we're going to have a different kind of hay fever.
Yeah,
And all those type of things, and a lot of people don't realize that it's a shift.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm going. If you would like, I have
Uh-huh.
a homemade cleaning solution that I do, and
Yeah,
I will send that to you, and you can give it to your to the
I will. That'll be wonderful because I'm gonna do I'm already doing the toothpaste. There's things I'm already doing, but I just said I'm going to change this. I'm not buying the soap powders and stuff anymore. I'm going to start making it because it's not hard to make.
That's right. That's right.
And
And
then all those
to have
chemicals and
these
stuff
little
is
spray
not in it.
bottles that you usually use your other cleaners, just, wash them all out, and actually you can
Oh,
take
can you?
these
Okay.
recipes and you fill them in there, and you got it. And actually
Okay.
you'll save money. You're going to pay more in the beginning buying all the ingredients.
Right.
I say they will last you 6 months to a year. It is
Yeah.
cheaper. And you're going to
Okay.
breathe better. You're going to sleep better. You're going to go to sleep and you're going to wake up and you're not going to have little stuff in your eyes. You're not going to be reaching for tissues to go blow your nose. You'll
Yeah.
see a big, big difference.
I'm grateful that I don't really have those things, but it could happen at any time. So thank you so much. This was so rich. I appreciate it. Um, and we must have you back, and so that you can continue to help us to be better. We don't want to just be better in the word. We want to be better in our bodies as well. So we do appreciate you coming on. Listen, go back and listen to the replay. Go back and get all the information you can get that can help you. And look, she put two links in there for you. There's some in the descriptions, but the two links you put in there, one was for your ebook, and the other one was
The other one is for the Healthy Habitat. The Healthy Habitat is a health community that I started, but I was dabbing in, dabbing out, dabbing in, dabbing out. But the Lord has really placed on my heart to take it further. It's
okay.
a place where you can put questions in, and there's going to be a time that I go where I am live that I'll answer the questions, but the answers to the questions will always be there. So if there is a health question or a food related question that you have, or a new product that you really like, and you want to know, how contaminated that product is before you consume it, then we share those things, and we share people who have been with me in the journey and they have actually seen their life totally turn around, because it's not just all about me, it's about
Right.
what other people in different age brackets
Yes.
say on how this life change pattern has changed their life.
So this is my last question. You said that you go live and answer questions. How often do you do that?
No, I said that's my intention for the
Uh,
healthy habits.
okay. All right.
That's what I'm
Well, we look forward to that. How about that? We look forward to
that's,
that because we know that you'll have the opportunity to do really what you talk about as much as you want to talk about in your community. So I do thank you for coming on. I don't want to take up any more of your time because I know your time is valuable.
can
And I
I say
want to say
this?
to Valerie Peacock, thank you so much for being here. And hey, you want to say something?
I want
Alfreda,
to
thank
I
you.
wanted to say most of the doctors, when I go to seminars and workshops with them, and I hear this all the time, that I'm a living testament of what I teach, because I'm 73 years old. My health records in my bio labs show
Right.
that I have the health capacity of a 40-year-old.
Wow.
That did not happen because all of my life I've been doing right. Most of my life I've been doing like everybody else, going to
Right.
restaurants, eating whatever I wanted to eat, cleaning with products that I knew that were detrimental, but I didn't want to stop because I liked the way they smelled. Uh,
Right.
Not forcing my body to do things that it was re- rebelling on doing, but I knew I had the
Hmm.
capability of doing. So these are things I'd like to share. I just like to share it with you because if I could do it, being broken and having limited
And
body movement,
look, you are a living testimony from head to toe. Can I tell everybody? She is a living testimony from head to toe. So, the transformation that she's talking about, she experienced things through life to make her make those changes. And I'm so grateful that she made them because she's here to tell us now how to make it.
yeah.
And she goes, and she might be down, but she gets back up. So, I want to thank everybody for being here. um yeah, thank you for making time out of your busy schedule, because I know we had to, well, what time, well, when can you do this, I appreciate it so much for you coming on, and I appreciate everyone for being here. Please go back and look at the links, and please, 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 please,
Mm-hmm.
um I'm trying to see what this is.
This one.
um yeah, go back, look at the link,
Okay.
and do what you need to do to better yourself and better enhance yourself.
Okay. This
Something
is
in the, huh?
That's a person who's advertising what she's doing in.
It looks like it's in a different language.
It is. It is. Um,
Okay.
okay. Yeah, that's what.
All right. So I want to thank everybody for being here. Janice, we will have you on again. Janice and I know each other. We've been friends for quite a few years now. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. Not just you, but everybody that has come on to better enhance yourself, just to listen. You just came on to listen, but I promise you there's something that can change your life, and that's what we want you to have, a better living life. So thank you until we meet again. Have a great rest of your day. I'll be back on Sunday, Leslie's Lessons Learned at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and look forward to seeing you. Have a great day.